Good afternoon. I would like to call to order the August 24th regularly scheduled board meeting and ask that you join in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now would you please rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And now I will turn it over to Director Mills, who will read our mission statement as well as go into the next item on our agenda, item 5, excuse me.
The Waterloo schools will set the standard for urban education by ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan.
Thank you, Director Mills.
Okay, so tonight we honor Bev Bovey for her extraordinary 56-year legacy of dedication to Waterloo schools. Since beginning her teaching career in 1970, Bev has been a fierce champion for our students. She has served on numerous committees, including curriculum selection and policy review, and acted as a WA representative, always ensuring every child has the opportunity to succeed. Though Bev retired from teaching in 2010, she continued her dedicated service on the Policy Review Committee, a vital role she has held for over 30 years. Driven by her deep faith and unwavering belief in the strength of our school system, her impact on this community is immeasurable. As she steps down from policy review committee this year, Bev looks forward to focusing on her farm, rental management, and church commitments. Though her humility makes it hard for her to accept praise, we want to take this moment to recognize her service and extend our deepest gratitude. Thank you, Bev, for your lifetime of selfless dedication and everything you have given to Waterloo schools.
Can you make sure the green light is on?
There it is.
All right, there we go.
I thank you for this opportunity to receive this recognition. Been with the Waterloo schools forever. It's hard for me to be modest because I'm so emotionally attached to it. Excuse me. I believe in the Waterloo mission. I believe in the kids in Waterloo, that they're all capable students. I've seen a lot of things going on since I started in 1970 teaching third grade at Castle Hill. We had, I learned a lot during my teaching career. One was the first day of busing kids from the east side to the west side schools, when we had the whole school sidewalk lined with adults yelling, belittling, racial slurs to kids coming to school. And I thought then, we need to fight for these kids. Besides that, I was here for the Waterloo 22. I attended many school board meetings at that time for the American Association of University Women. And I watched the Waterloo 22 constantly come up and try to get a voice, and said they were not on the agenda. And they finally found a way to be on the agenda and showed their presence. I was present. I learned a lot from integration. I found out how much hate there was in the world, and I was kind of committed to combat that and make people comfortable when they came to school. Watching immigrants come into this country and knowing where they came from, it was very difficult for them. And it wasn't fun as a teacher either, but every student I learned from that, you know, they wanted the same things I wanted, the parents wanted the same things, and with those three, the teachers, you know, the schools, the parents, and the kids, they could succeed, and many did, many just, I mean, just unbelievable progress for these kids that worked so hard. I was there when inclusion was started. The first year I taught, there was no inclusion. I was in the classroom. I taught music, phys ed, and art in my classroom. It was a third grade classroom. And of course, things have changed since then, but you get close to those kids in the nine months. I just had lunch with one of my fifth graders just this week. They keep in contact. That's why it's legal to be on Facebook now. But through all of that, I think I learned the most. The kids taught me as much as I taught them. To see a parent want to see a child, you know, through their eyes, and see that they're valued and they want the best for their kid, and to realize that, you know, I always had the slogan that if I talked to a child when I was angry, I either said, "What would Jesus do?" or I would pretend the parent was standing right beside me, and I didn't know they were in the room, but they were in the doorway. So I tried to handle the child that way, and it helped many times. Not always, but many. It's been an honor to teach in Waterloo. It's been a passion, and I think one thing I would encourage too, with me going off, the policy review committee really needs an elementary rep, a middle school rep, and a high school rep to get a taste of what real life is about. And however you do that, I think it should be done. I think I've changed. I think I started with Dr. Schwartz and Druber. I've been through 9 superintendents, I think 4 school board secretaries, you know, the whole bit. So anyway, it's been an honor and a passion and a mission. Thank you.
So this is what we talked about, what I stated, but we wanted you to have an official certificate of appreciation. So this gets framed and goes on your wall.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
there's still room.
Good. How many do you have?
We'll talk. Let's have lunch.
There are people who would like to speak. So what we're going to do is close this part down, and the next part is public speaking anyway. So we'll go right in, and anyone who wants to come up then to give a few words about Bev, that would be when we could do that. Sound good to everybody? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Director Mills. While she's coming, thank you, Director Mills. While she's handing the flowers, I'll just say a few words on behalf of the board, if she can hear me. We don't want you to steal her thunder. Ms. Babb, on behalf of the board, I think it's important to acknowledge, and the write-up was great, but I think when you came to the microphone, it became even greater. And some of the causes and throughout that long storied history of your dedication to the Waterloo schools, you summed up who you are as a person just as well as your career in education. And to be able to, as Director Mills stated earlier, to be able to serve on a committee or be committed to something for that length of time needs to be commended. So on behalf of the board and the Waterloo Community Schools, we appreciate your dedication. We thank you for your service, but I'll remember the words that you spoke at that microphone, and what drove you, and what did you want, what you wanted to see, and how you fought for students and families throughout this community. So that not taking away from your 56 years of and your legacy and what you've done, but I think those words spoke to me personally and as a district as a whole. So thank you, and continue to be a champion for Waterloo Community Schools. So we appreciate all your service and your dedication. And that was just for information only as well. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 6, information from individuals and delegations. This is an opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Ms. Schmidt will hold up a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time has expired. At that time, I would ask you to conclude your public remarks. Please also keep your comments respectful and constructive. We're all here with the goal of trying to support our students. Please also avoid criticizing the job performance of specific employees. Personnel matters are confidential and must be handled through the proper channels and not in a public forum. Finally, we provide this as an opportunity for public comments, but it is generally not a back and forth conversation, especially with items not on our agenda. At times, we'll try to help with information before or after the meeting, but we must continue with our agenda items. With that being said, I would like to invite anyone who wishes to address the board this evening to come to the microphone, make sure the green light is on, and start by stating your name and address. Going once?
They're all playing. I'm Karen, and
Rock, paper, scissors.
I live in Cedar Falls. This is not my thing, Bev. You know it, so you're worth it. I mean, I did not plan anything, but I just have to let you know, when I started teaching, I was involuntarily transferred to Kittrell. Please don't do that to teachers; it's heartache. But while that door closed, this window opened, because I came to Kittrell in a room without desks, without chairs, nothing, just a bare skeleton of a room, and she saved my life. I am not kidding you. Being a young teacher is one thing, but being a young teacher going to a new school, new people, new relationships, and having nothing, oh my gosh, she is my savior. And we have been friends ever since, even though I moved on to middle school, and then she retired. Bev, I'm retiring after this year. So from the beginning to the end, she's special people. She's good people. Thanks, sorry.
Sarah Cavalier, I'm an English teacher at West, and I was a fourth-year teacher when I was recruited to policy review with the sales pitch that we need somebody on this committee. It's canceled a lot. And when I started going to the committee, I met Bev, and she told me horror stories of the hard work that they did where they stayed until 10 o'clock fighting out the policies. So thank you for the groundwork and the foundation that you did so that the meetings that I've attended for the last probably roughly 20 years have not been until 10 o'clock. And the thoroughness with which you've served and the dedication to both staff and students as an advocate for all. Thank you.
My name is Deb Goodenbauer. I'm a retired Waterloo Schools teacher, and Bev, I never taught at the same grade level as Bev, but she was a key woman educator, and she belongs to DKG, which a few of us are representing, but she truly was a key woman educator, or just educator. And I think that her summary of her goals and her vision it's just her, and she was wonderful. So, and we continue to meet up, and we'll be having good times. So thank you, Bev, for everything you've done for all the kids. I mean, through policy review, that's a huge important thing. So thank you.
Ms. Goodenbauer,
Yes.
Were you at Kittrell then in the 80s?
No, there was another Mrs. Goodenbauer.
Okay, I was
I
like-
came 2004.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
Like, is there anyone else for Deb? Hearing about you is just amazing. So I'm sorry, I signed up for my 3 minutes. So, hello, my name's Stephanie McCombs, and for over a decade, I've worked to build academic pathways for Waterloo students. I'm here tonight because I read Jared's email celebrating our AP and IB growth, and the Courier article that said that Waterloo East High recorded the area's largest improvement, rising 51 places in Iowa. And I have to say, absolutely, absolutely. Listening to the June meeting, I heard Jonathan and Lyle talk about the specific effects of IJAG and whether that was impacting Career Center enrollment. And I realized that you might not realize the impact of the ELP middle school role. So I wanted to come and highlight that. So 10 years ago, we started back mapping our curriculum from the high schools, asking AP, IB, and Career Center teachers what skills the incoming kids were missing. We built pathways starting in 6th grade, looking for talent in all students, not just those that were identified ELP, including ELL, that is a huge population, and then also kids that move in. So we created talent development groups for kids that were close, but needed just a little bridge. And we pushed them, we encouraged them, and we mapped out 4-year plans, and that's a big thing, by the way. When I heard that East High made the largest gains in the state, I knew why. Those steps were built years ago in middle school, the talent development, the ongoing vertical alignment. So this spring, I got to go to the East High honor ceremony. 15 of the 21 kids that graduated with an honors diploma were my kids. 8 of the 10 National Honor Society students were my kids. 9 of the 11 IB graduates were my kids. These were kids I worked with in some way. They weren't necessarily identified as ELP students when they came into middle school. These were kids we found, we worked with, we built steps so that they could achieve these great things. As budget conversations arise, it's easy to look at an ELP position and think that the kids will be okay. Those kids will be okay. But this last year's cuts, those statistics of all of those kids, my position was cut. I no longer am in that position. So who's doing that? Who's building those talent development groups? You might not see the damage today. You might not see it next year because we've planned and we've built those pathways. But years from now, you are going to see a very different landscape in Waterloo. So as you come to budget considerations, please do not cut the ELP positions anymore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kristen Stanford and I reside at 1708 Partridge Lane. I had the honor of serving on the school foundation board with Bev, so thank you for your service. I am here with concerns about the ACLU Iowa report, Rethinking School Safety in Iowa, the Harms of School Resource Officers, released in July. I hope you have taken the time to read through the findings of the data from 2021. In light of this report, I want to thank our local Courier reporter, Maria Cooper, for updated statistics from the 24-25 school year. On July 31st, she reported that although our numbers have improved, they continue to show disproportionate discipline and arrests of our Black students, representing 56% of referrals and arrests, while making up only 28.5% of our student population. I am going to yield the remainder of my time to the next speaker, Rachel Antonuccio, who is the Chief Supervisor of our local Juvenile Public Defender's Office and was named the American Bar Association's Fearless Children's Lawyer of the Month in September of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, and thank you, Bev, for kind of setting the stage. I can tell you've done a lot for the students that I think we're talking about today. As Kristen said, my name is Rachel Antonuccio, 229 East Park Avenue. I'm a proud parent of 2 Waterloo Public Schools students, and as Kristen said, I'm the supervising attorney of the Waterloo Juvenile Public Defender's Office. Both roles compel me to ask this board to take formal action to address the findings of the report that Kristen referenced. If you've not read it, I did bring copies for folks. I'm happy to hand it out. But the report is an in-depth, data-driven analysis of how Iowa's children are impacted by the presence of SROs in our public schools. Per the report, between 2018 and 2021, Black children in Iowa made up 7% of the statewide population, but accounted for 13% of SRO referrals and 21% of arrests. Even though national studies indicate Black students do not misbehave or commit crimes at a higher rate than other students. Students with disabilities make up 13% of Iowa's student population, but account for 27% of SRO referrals and 26% of arrests. In Waterloo schools specifically, between 2018 and 2021, Black students represented 27% of the student population, but made up 71% of SRO referrals and 69% of arrests, by far the highest rate of overrepresentation in the state of Iowa. As Kristen said, the Waterloo Courier further analyzed our statistics. While they are better, they are still overwhelming. I understand the sincere hope that an SRO referral or arrest will provide our children with accountability and the expertise and services they need to improve behavior. But having worked in our juvenile and adult court systems for nearly 20 years, I am sad and frustrated to report that the outcomes and opportunities on the other side of referral and arrest are rarely very good. In fact, the data shows the opposite. The delinquency court interventions actually result in health, education, and income outcomes all being significantly worse for those adults who were once involved in the juvenile delinquency system. Children petitioned in the delinquency system are twice as likely to be involved in adult criminal court. In short, once we introduce our children to these systems, it is very difficult for our children to escape these systems. And the likelihood that they will be successful and stable when they become adults decreases exponentially. The report's first recommendation is that school districts stop supporting SRO presence in schools. This board already unanimously voted to renew SRO contracts earlier this month, so that's obviously a non-starter, but the report still provides important guidance and suggestions for districts who choose to maintain SRO presence in schools. This board has the opportunity to commit to taking those remaining recommendations seriously. In addition to implementing the report's suggestions, we can look at far more effective models to address behavior. Several Iowa districts, including Lynn, Dubuque, Iowa City, and Des Moines, have implemented restorative practices in their schools. This is a way to voluntarily bring together a person who has been harmed with a person who has done harm in a supported, safe environment. As part of a broader conversation, the person who has done harm must take accountability, and the person who has been harmed has the opportunity to propose a solution to repair that specific harm. The goal is to make the harmed person whole again and to heal or improve the underlying relationship between participants so the harm does not continue. And data shows far fewer SRO referrals and arrests in districts with restorative practices. Just as importantly, teachers and students report greater feelings of safety, and teachers report far higher rates of job satisfaction. If this concept is new to you, your colleague in Des Moines, Justin Bleets, was a trailblazer in this area in Lynn County. He has a 2021 presentation on YouTube that I would encourage you to check out about how he implemented those practices in his district. The action we take or don't take on this issue is a signal
Mrs. Andu, I want to make sure I get it correctly.
Antonuccio. I know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
So we're at your 3 minutes,
Okay.
plus the time that you yielded as well. If you
Gotcha.
have information that you want the board,
I do.
you can we'll allow you to pass that out. You want to, somebody can grab that information.
I have the report from the ACLU.
And then if there's something that you can email, if you can email that to Ms. Schmidt, and she can get it out to the rest of the board members as well.
Sure thing. And I'm including my business card on
Sounds
that
good.
because I would like to collaborate with you to address this. So I encourage you to contact me.
Where is your
Thank you.
office? Is your office in the courthouse?
It is not. No. It's in downtown Waterloo.
Okay.
I have all my contact
All right,
information
very
on
good.
there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Before, Esther,
is
before
it-
we're done, there's a statement for Bev that was sent in too.
Oh, okay. You want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is from Tara Thomas Getman. Thank you, Bev, for your excellence and advocacy on behalf of the students, staff, and greater community impacted by the oversight and execution of policies for the Waterloo Community School District. Your insight, reflection, and knowledge through the lens of a longtime educator were invaluable components that made the district and its policies better in terms of the standards you upheld. Your contribution of time and expertise were priceless. Is it okay if we get a picture really quick?
You want to?
Can we get a picture of the people? Yeah, the people came for Bev just in front of the board real quick. Okay,
If you can do it briefly,
yeah, we'll do it
quick.
fast.
I don't know how fast you can move. Yep. She's asked to be able to take a group picture with her colleagues.
Congratulations.
No, different song.
Yep. Yep.
If you've been on policy review, come on down. Come on board, you've been on policy. Right here.
Oh.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, President Williams, for giving us that time.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Director Mills, for all your help in that. It's well deserved. So that brings us to the next item on our agenda, our consent agenda. This afternoon's consent agenda consists of 6 items. Item 1, approval of minutes of the August 10th, 2026 regular board meeting and August 13th, 2026 special board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item 4, Iowa voluntary preschool contracts. Item 5, Leader in Me agreement. And item 6, appointment of the School Improvement Advisory Committee. Are there any items board members want to see removed?
4 and 6, please.
Item 4 and item 6
And item 2.
and item 2. Are there any others?
Yeah. You don't like odd numbers.
All right, seeing none, can we get a motion to put items 1, 3, and 5 on the table?
So moved. Second.
Sort that one out.
All those in favor of approving items 1, 3, and 5, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the personnel items as listed. Any question?
Yes, I see, let me see, 3 new positions in classified. And then in change of assignments, there's 5, I think, positions based on student need, but that includes the 5 ELP teachers. Can you explain kind of what's going on in each of those? First of all, the first question is on the new positions. Are those net new positions, and how do we rationalize that considering our budget?
So they're new special education positions, so we're required to have them by law. Those are what the students are required to have in their IEPs. So that would be the special education positions.
So we've got more students that have IEPs, is that?
Either more students with IEPs, or the needs of the students we have are higher, that they need more minutes of additional support. So that would require them to have required to have more positions to serve them.
It could also be what building they're spread out into, couldn't it?
It could be, but that's based on which students are in which buildings.
Right.
Yep, and then how much support's in the building. So when they're writing an IEP, you would write how many minutes of service that student needs throughout the day. So as we get more students with more needs, or maybe a higher intensity need, that could adjust how many minutes of support they need, which increases the staff.
Is there a specific date in which the number of IEPs is official?
So we do have a count date, and I'm looking at Megan, I think it's October 1st is when end of October is when the official count is for the school year.
So this staffing is based on last year's count?
Just happen to have the director here with us.
It's a combination. So it would be last year's projections plus any new move-ins. So when a special ed para or staff resigns at a building, and we don't just automatically fill that position, there's a process that principals need to go through to show us how they're using their current staff and what holes exist for the move-in students. So it's just yes and no. It is based on who left or who's left for projection wise, but also we have a lot of new kids.
Could I get the numbers of the year before versus this last count date
Sure, the official count numbers.
in levels 1, 2, and
Yes.
3,
Yep.
and then totaled on the extra count? What the weighted count is in terms of student funding?
Yes. So you want our past 2 years of weighted count information, and
Yeah,
then
just
when,
to see the trend
Yes.
line.
Yeah, I can get that for you.
And then the funding obviously is based on that. They have not changed the weighting factors, have they?
They have not.
Which is, to me, one of the huge issues we should be
Yes.
lobbying for, because we lose money
Yes.
every year on those, and every urban district does, so it should be a common cause. I mean, that's
Yes. Agreed.
and are there minimums? Is there a minimum student ratio, or what drives the number of?
So it's all determined by their team, and that is based on data. So minutes of service in any goal area or any para service is all determined by a variety of factors. One might be how discrepant they are from standards and expectations and peer performance. That's just one example, but it's all individually chosen by the IEP team.
So what's the timeline between when a teacher, administrator, anybody calls for a IEP evaluation and the time it's actually done?
So once consent for evaluation is signed, and that's signed by a family, there's a 60-day evaluation period, and the AEA conducts that evaluation, and then the team determines whether or not the student is eligible, and then there's 30 days to develop the initial IEP, if determined eligible.
So when that happens mid-year, which most of it's going to happen mid-year, I'm assuming, how do you adjust your,
So there's two main times of the year that special education teachers, they complete it's called a caseload review. So basically it's a big mathematical equation that we go through to make sure one roster isn't so much heavier than another roster. So at that point in time, that's done twice a year, right around count time, and then later at mid-year. At the beginning of the school year is when we see the highest request for new personnel come in, because that's when each new building is getting, all of their roster of special education students. So at that point is when they're making para schedules, making special education teacher schedules. So at that point, at the beginning of the year, that's why you're seeing them now, is because holes exist with kids that move in compared to the FTE that they left off with last year.
but you have yet to make your final adjustment's gonna come end of October, or?
Yes, we do adjust staffing in October, and then again at mid-year are our two biggest times where we look at that. But like I said, at the beginning of the school year is when principals are doing that the most.
So how do we stack up against, this is probably an unfair question, how do we stack up against other districts that have a large weighted average number?
Sure. So when we developed our district developed service delivery plan 2 years ago, we pulled all the UEN's district developed service delivery plan, and we pulled all of the schools that were in our Central Rivers AEA, and the committee that developed that plan analyzed a variety. So they analyzed like places that look like us and places that don't, but are regionally located within, close to us. And we are right in line with UENs. I would say we're not comparable to, like a Dyke or a Hudson. Our rosters are heavier than the people in those places. But as far as UENs go, our matrix that we use to determine caseloads is very similar.
Would you think that due to the fact of having the IEP and state law, you have to do X, Y, and Z, with kids moving from school to school to school, that's pretty tough to, and how do you do that? Because I know that because of state law,
sure,
you're providing that service, and it's very, very hard because sometimes you have move-ins and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's why we have kind of a layered process for administrators to engage in, because it's not just as simple as this kid from Nebraska moved in and has this many minutes. We have to analyze, okay, what does that look like in our district, in our state? And then that's why it's kind of an intense process that our principals have to engage in to say, to ask for another para. They have to really articulate and show us, here's how I'm using all of my existing paras, and here's the holes that I have because of this new kid or kids. So I think our principals sometimes complain about it because it is kind of labor intensive, especially at the beginning of the year to make para schedules to ensure that you're covering every single minute in an IEP. It's not an easy task. But between our special education teachers and our administrators, they do a great job of covering the need and articulating when they need more.
I just want to make sure I recognize that what you guys are doing is a hard job.
It is.
It's just
Thank
not, you just can't just plug it here and plug it there. I understand my son had an IEP. That process, I understand your process and everything. So I just want to just mention that.
Thanks.
Is there a significant number of special needs that are not normal residents of the district in terms of, our program, we have critical mass in a lot of areas, and the program, is well done, really. So are there other districts that kind of can't afford to do it on their own or elect
Yes.
to enroll in Waterloo
Yes.
for the
Yeah,
specific
JT,
services?
you would probably know better than I do the amount of kids that we bill for, but it is very common for surrounding districts who don't have our expansive special education continuum. They do ask if they can't meet the needs of the student in their district, they will ask us if we can serve their students, and if we're in an okay staffing position, we'll take them, but sometimes we're not. Sometimes, like we're short our own staff and can't provide the needs that we already have in district. So we try to take as many kids from outside of the district as possible, but we aren't always able to.
It's not a significant amount of students. It's 15 or less, probably.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any more questions, comments?
Just the. on
Can
this
you
item.
repeat that one, the second part of that, please, Lyle?
Yeah, what's the general situation we heard about the ELP? And then I see these are all change of assignments, so what's really kind of the strategy that's?
So this honestly came back to when we talked about, we reduced a couple ELP positions at the end of last year. This is how the staffing ended up shaking out, and this is how it's being placed on the board agenda now to make sure that it's public of where everybody's going. So these were changes that made over the summer and how the staffing was allocated. So these are just those assignments that are being placed in.
But this specific teachers were ELP prior?
Yes, they were all ELP teachers before.
Okay,
So they're just changing which buildings they're in.
okay.
All right, good. All right, so all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to the next item on our consent agenda. Item 4, the Iowa voluntary preschool contracts. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the Iowa voluntary preschool contracts for the 2026-2027 school year as presented.
So moved. Second.
And question?
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
I just had a couple quick questions. So looking at some of these, like the A to Z one, it says we reimburse the organizations for the cost of tuition paid by parents to meet the intent of the legislation, that free public supported early childhood education be available on a voluntary basis. Does that mean that the parents get the money back or no?
No, that means that they get free preschool, just like the kids that we serve in our district get free preschool. So no,
So they're not charging tuition for that
Correct.
part? Okay,
Correct.
that's what I was
Yep.
trying to make sure I
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah, but a lot of them, like at A to Z, they are able to provide childcare in the other half of the day. So they're, in some cases, depending on other funding sources, they would have to pay for the childcare.
That's kind of what I was trying to figure out, because I'm sure it's the same way then at Small World and Emmanuel, like all of
Correct.
them, right?
Correct.
So the new one, the new partner is the YWCA.
Yes.
We're going to have a teacher there, right?
We have a teacher here, yes, that she's an itinerant teacher, so she travels to A to Z to provide preschool and is now going to provide at the YW as well.
Okay. How many, so that they can have up to 20 kids, right? Is
Correct.
that kind of standard?
It is. 20 is the max for preschool. I just left there. They had their ribbon cutting today, and we have 13, so we're inching up there.
I just wanted to, with this, ask you, since we're going to have room, like at East and West now, do you think that it would be beneficial to the district and to the community if we were able to create more preschool rooms within the district rather than not that we should not partner, because I know the partnerships help have preschool in the places where people live, but what are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I think we need to look at any available space. We have a very large wait list currently for preschool, which is why starting classrooms at the YW is our our best strategy right now to attack that wait list until we have more in-house space. We are capped for preschool space in-house right now.
Okay, that's, yeah, I was just, as I worked through that in my head,
Sure.
if we do have more room, would that be something you
Definitely.
want to look at?
Definitely.
Okay.
So how long is your wait list?
Well, it's over 100, and we turn it off after over 100, just because we don't want families to continue to apply for something that is not likely that they will get to.
So are these all financially neutral? In other words, what we pay, is that exactly what we get from the state?
So I believe we get 5% of statewide voluntary.
We get 5% that we can use toward administrative costs, but we get, $4,000 of funding per 4-year-old student, which if it's a partner, it flows to them for reimbursement. If there are kiddos, the funding stays with us. Currently, we do run a deficit in our preschool program, and the reason for that is we offer full-day preschool, and so we keep our kids a full day, so we don't get funding for a full day. We get basically funding for a half day. So that's the kind of the conundrum, if you will. A lot of districts who can make it financially feasible, they just offer half-day preschool, so they're able to basically double the number of students in a given day, and therefore the funding does sustain that program. But here at Waterloo, again, just given the needs of our students, we offer the full-day program, and we don't get full funding for that.
We offer the full-day program, but there's a wait list.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep.
So we're not really.
Yeah, we have a lot to explore for sure. We also have Head Start funding, which is a huge asset to the district. I think we get more through Head Start funding than we generate through statewide voluntary dollars. So that's our best preschool partner for sure.
And we provide
And these are-
3 and 4-year-old, correct?
Just 3-year-olds with IEPs.
Okay. And so the 4-year-olds are the only ones that are covered through the voluntary program, right?
Correct.
And Lyle, so having it full day, it's really a matter of like, where will those kids go for the rest of their day, right?
Yes, and what we see with our partner sites that are only half days isn't really palatable for families unless they have the ability to pick them up or get them to grandma's or get them to wrap care. It's really hard for families, and it would increase our transportation costs as well if we were to bus kids from our preschool to wrap care. It is definitely something that we're looking into. I don't know that half-day programming is right for every preschool in every preschool program in our district, but what I've learned in the first year of being the director of preschool is that many districts do it a lot of different ways. We could explore having half day at some locations, but not all. If you think about Lowell Early Childhood, what potentially that campus would look like if it was half day back-to-back programming, that campus would, that would be a lot more little people, which is then a lot of other things to figure out. But Lyle, we are definitely talking about that and considering what spaces could we explore half-day programming.
Those are all good questions. Just personally, the benefits of all day for students at that early age, getting what they need. Unfortunate that it's a cap or a limit, but those students that are receiving that, the benefits.
So our
those are conversations that can come later on. Sounds like it's a lot, but good questions. But
so our contractors that provide they provide half day, right?
Correct.
But their other half is childcare.
Correct.
So who pays for that childcare, or is that included?
The parents.
It's either the families or grants that center would pursue.
Okay, so it's not included in the
Correct. No.
thing. Now, I think in a couple of these, they have their own certified teachers, and a couple
Yes.
they don't.
Correct.
So do we pay the same regardless?
Nope. It is adjusted based on they provide their own teacher, so their reimbursement looks different than the places that we are providing the teacher.
Okay. Thank you.
Why are we doing lunch at YWCA? Do we do it at all of them, or?
We do not. It's unique to the YWCA because they have had, they have childcare at the YWCA, and I don't remember the entity that was providing lunch. The kids weren't eating it, and a lot of lunch was getting thrown away. Waterloo Schools has been providing lunch on Fridays at the YWCA for their childcare, and they love that lunch. So Amelia, the director there, has been hustling and really trying to find donors to help with that, and she just starting up a preschool partner is a lot because they won't receive funding till next calendar year. So in this interim this year, we are providing lunch at a cost, so it'll be we'll bill them for the lunch, but she just wasn't able to secure other funding at this time.
I just wondered if we were able to cover that as part of the free lunch we give out since they're a partner.
No,
we can't.
Unfortunately not.
Thank you for securing all of these, Megan. Yeah. As a parent who, we all remember what it's like trying to find preschool for your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
So trying to find placements that we can't give is a really big deal.
Yes,
so thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was a lot. All right. Anything else? So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thank you, Megan, for all your work on that. That brings us to the next item on our consent agenda, item 6, appointment of the School Improvement Advisory Committee. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the appointment of the committee whose membership includes representation from teachers, students, administrators, parents, community members, and the Board of Education. To the extent possible, committee membership has balanced representation of race, gender, national origin, and disability.
Second.
And question?
Yeah, so my question with this is do we open it, Dr. Starr's not here, but maybe Amy or Dr. Smith could help. Do we do new invites yearly to see it? Because I know like some of the people who are on here come religiously to the meetings and then some don't. So is that something that we look at every year then too, to kind of see if, do we call the list?
So thank you, because I saw this on the agenda and I was like, okay, good. We've got our core group coming back. And actually this is like a current email thread within the UENs right now about number of meetings, about returning members. I'm with you, Stacy. Like I want to make sure that this is a group that speaks to what was just read, which is it's a comprehensive list of people serving as staff, parents, community members, and so forth. Right. And what I saw as the year went on, which is common across the state as we're having these conversations, is that, man, those numbers drop off. So I do, without Shar here and without talking to her, really that's gonna be my message to her as well, is if we've got this list, which is great, I mean, this is a good list, but are they truly all coming? And if not, do we go back to them and say, hey, you want to be part of this? Or do we start to look at other people who we can count on to be there? So Stacey, great idea, because I had the same thoughts as I looked at the last meeting last year, which it dwindled down. Let's make sure that we are fulfilling like the letter of the law, which says to have like a comprehensive group of different backgrounds of employees making up this good group. So again, it's timely that
it is. People
are asking, how many times do you meet each year? How many people? We want to make sure it's a group that's truly doing the work with a good group cross section.
I know they did like what they presented us a couple.
Good stuff. Yes, absolutely. It's outstanding.
I think the only thing is I don't know if we had any students coming when I'm on it, so that might be the only thing we need to. And that's hard to find kids who have time in the evening, because it's usually kids that are already involved in other stuff who would want to do it. So
Are these open meetings?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever like, if anybody showed up, I don't think we'd ever like turn them away.
No, we never had a quorum there.
I don't think we have, in terms of like, okay, open meetings are open meetings, right? We don't, yeah, I mean, I think any community member who shows, I can't think of a time we've actually like turned anybody away, but in terms of like a noticed open meeting, I don't think we have
It's
not.
posted, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, I was forgetting. So we do have, so we don't have to worry about the quorum then, right?
Right. 'Cause
Which I don't think we've had
we
more
had
than.
more board members come maybe during the cell phone one. I think we had maybe more than a quorum come. There have been times when there's been more stuff happening. So. Anyway, I just wanted to.
Yep.
It was hard switching from equity committee and then trying to get the same work done, and additional work. So.
Yep.
Thank you.
And especially now, you can have multiple, so.
And I think it's something that we can bring up. I know that she did send, I know I got an email to see if I wanted to continue to serve. I don't know if that was every member on here or not, but I know something went out, at least to us as board members. But also maybe at our first meeting, we can talk about needs that we have within this group, looking at our district. You know, has there been kind of a feasibility type thing done to see what are the needs with immigrant populations and different things like that? I'm wondering if there may be some other people we may need to tap into to get in this space to make sure it's representative of who we are as a district. But I will gladly mention that at the first meeting.
Yep.
I'm not saying, Sam, you do that. I can bring that up.
No, I was just going to tag along that while there's a list of probably 45 people on here, I think Shar has a list of about, 60, 70, 80 people where she sends out the notice to everybody. And then the people that respond back that they want to be included are the ones that are included on here. So the actual outreach was much larger than this.
So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That ends our consent agenda items. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Would be travel to National FFA Leadership Convention. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve travel for Hunter Hamilton and WCC students to attend the National FFA Leadership Convention from October 20 through October 23rd, 2026 in Indianapolis, Indiana.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I see Hunter's.
I'm just here to answer any questions.
Yeah, and you came solo too. I thought you had a little help behind you.
I got a little helper. we don't usually do phones, but I didn't think it's going to survive through that hour. So, but
So how many students?
so it looks like I haven't had kids out yet today, but tomorrow is looking like we're about to have 46 kids out in the program this first semester. Can you guys hear? I don't know if you guys can hear through this. Okay.
Is the green light on?
Huh?
Is the green light
The green
on?
light is on.
Okay.
It's going. And so that's a big change. 46 is a big change from the first year. 3 years ago, we had 12 first semester. So we're looking really good. Last year we had 34. So program is going up. Once we get the second semester numbers, I'm hoping that we're going to have about 80 some FFA members, which would be awesome. We had 63 last year. We had 33 the first year. So the numbers are shooting up. But
What needs to be done, and I always mention this, what needs to be done to get a jacket for the students?
For the students?
For the students.
We have had some very generous donors, and our students are going to get some jackets this year. So
Okay.
we've had a lot of jackets. The goal of the jacket is to get the kids to have a little part in the chapter, and they can only wear a handful of times throughout the year at certain events. But my goal is this first week to get them situated with me, and then get them sized for a jacket and try to get jackets hopefully by the end of next week. So
I always wondered that, but I never had the time to ask a student.
yeah, I usually in the past
just
and
look cool.
at my old school we would and it's kind of voluntary, anyone that would do it. At my old school, all the freshmen would get jackets. That was paid for by our FFA booster club, basically.
Is there a booster club now?
We currently do not have one.
Okay.
and that might be something to look for in the future, but not this year while I have a 1-year-old and 3-year-old. So,
Wow.
But yeah, so and maybe in the future down the road, we have some awesome community supporters, which have been a great help. So they're kind of like a nice little booster club and supporters. So.
How many do you think will go on the trip then?
I'm only going to take up to 10. It is a trip. It's 75,000 FFA members out there in Indianapolis. I have brought 10 before, and that's about the peak that you want to bring. There are some crazy advisors that'll bring 20. There's no way that it'll be me unless we have more chaperones and more help, or we have a big bus going out there. But 10's a great number if we can get it. I know my officer team, there's 6 on there. They all want to go. I only brought 3 last year. Had 5 sign up and 2 dropped out kind of last second. And this year I know for sure I have 6, like just can't wait to go because they had a great time last year. So
Is it a cost? Was it a cost issue for kids? Is there something?
no, it wasn't a cost issue. It's just kids being kids.
So are you the only chaperone that's going?
If I have more than 7 for the van, I'll have to bring a second chaperone. And I'm still looking into options, what that looks like, who that's going to be.
But girls go, right? It's not just all boys.
Girls go. I brought only girls last year, and I brought only girls the year before. And
So what's the transportation? Is that a district van or?
it'll be a district van. Yep. Yep.
So you can take up to
7 in a district van.
just 7?
Yeah, we don't have 11 passengers unless you guys want to change that.
Where's that? Challenge.
Do we have 11 passenger van? That'd be awesome. Buy me a little minibus. It'd be even better. You know.
We
I'd go out
do
there.
have 11 passenger vans.
No, that's news to me. I would love no more.
That's an exact question.
We bought 12 seaters. We did. We bought at least one 12-seat.
I would love to know more about that because I have never heard that.
I mean, you're not.
We'll get back to you.
Thank
on that.
you.
That's
Yeah.
exact.
Yeah, that's a exact question. I'll look forward to the email.
So Hunter,
We don't want to misspeak.
can you just talk a little bit about like what FFA students actually, like what their time is spent doing? Like, do they do projects like 4-H? Like, just a little bit about what you guys do.
Like out there or just in general?
Just in general. Like,
So our FFA members, it kind of depends on what they're interested in. I always say to the kids that if you have something of interest, we can find an opportunity for you in the FFA. So a couple weeks ago, we had kids go out to the state fair showing rabbits. I had kids work out at the garden this year. We had, we kind of have a little bit of everything. I've had kids build projects that help our, like we have if you've been to our greenhouse, we have a little raised bed outside of our greenhouse. My students built that. There's leadership competitions, there's skills competitions, there's community service opportunities.
and those are through the program.
Those are through the program, yep. We offer around 30 to 40 different opportunities right now for our students throughout the year. And that could be contests, community service, whatnot, socials. But that's just kind of getting what as we're growing bigger and bigger, it's kind of what the kids want to do. A big thing this year, my kids really want to be more visible and be more like my kids, my chapter officers, my officer team. They're a bunch of go-getters, and they want to have like some big events. They're really thinking about like trying to have something this fall, just to try to like get the community to see what we're doing. But they're still planning that. So whether that be like a nice little fun thing at the farm, the student farm, they really want a corn maze, we're going to look into that. Not 100% sold in the corn maze yet, but we're going to see what happens. So they're a bunch of kids that took my classes last year and they loved it, and they just want to try to make it get even better this year.
Are all the FF8 kids typically, do they get your courses?
So they have to take an ag course to be an FFA. It's not like any other club that we have here.
Got you.
And that is a national FFA rule. That's nationwide. So National FFA has more than 1 million members nationwide. All those students are found in an ag class. That's a requirement. I actually even dropped the chapter officer last year because they couldn't get into my class. Yeah.
We don't want kids not being able to get into
I agree.
ag class.
I agree.
Well, if they do come up with something, will you let us know? I'd love
Yeah.
to come in and see.
Yep, I think we're working on it next week
Okay.
at our officer meeting.
So about how many students had summer hours and some?
Oh, that would be hard to track. I had a student doing an agri-science project over the summer at our mum patch, and she was there a couple hours a week. I had a student come and volunteer and help me mow and do some things like that over there a couple hours. Not too many yet. I'm hoping eventually we get an opportunity where kids can come in the summer and take care of the animals, because we do have 10 rabbits and about to have more rabbits. But that's mostly on me right now. Because,
Okay.
yeah, what's that? Baby's on the way? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Rabbit baby's on the way. We have 2 pregnant rabbits right now, so.
Wait, what breed are they?
They're called Polish. They're a small little breed, compact breed.
Okay, my English lops, I had them for 12 years and they passed away. So
This,
I'm like,
this is too big of ears on an English lop. Too big.
All right.
Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Anybody getting to go to Farm Progress?
That we're going next week.
All right,
So
what day you going?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yep. So
Okay.
Farm Progress Show is the nation's largest outdoor farm show. It happens in Iowa every other year. My first year here 3 years ago. It was here, but I had like 3 kids in the class. I'm like, we're probably not going to go. It's like the first week of school. It's next week. I'm taking up to 7. Just have 1 van going, unless we can find that 11 passenger van somewhere. I'll take 11.
It was pretty neat.
It's really awesome.
wait, where's that at?
It's in Boone.
Boone. It's permanent site there.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it was really interesting, like the amount of drone technology and stuff they had brought in. It was just like, my wife went to me and she's like, wow, I would never thought, I just thought it'd be tractors, you know.
That's my favorite thing about bringing kids there. I used to bring at my old school. I used to bring up like 20 some kids, and they'd be blown away. It's just a bunch of ag companies showing the latest technology in ag, and they're always blown away. I think the first year, I remember when I was in high school, the first thing I remember seeing was the autonomous tractor, the self-driving tractor. And so it's just kind of a really cool event that brings in millions, not millions, but people from all over the world to go see the things.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
I hope it doesn't rain. We'll still go either way.
So how does it work when your students are on these trips, they're absent from their other classes? How does that work?
They're excused from their class. They're excused from their other classes.
So it doesn't count as a.
They
No,
just have to.
there's a
have to make
state.
sure they
Actually,
get
there's a
there.
state law. I think this past year that was passed that is just like a sport or activity or anything like that for FFA. So it's excused.
Now they still have to do their work.
That's up to them. Yeah, that's on them.
We don't want to put that out in the atmosphere.
I just want to say really quick, I happened to be out in Indianapolis the last time for a higher education conference during the FFA.
Oh, good luck.
No, it was actually, I mean, I had no idea what was going on, first of all. And I see all these cool jackets. And so elevator conversations, a very respectful group of young people. They were telling me all about it, asking me about myself, because none of them were from Iowa.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh, I'm Iowa Hawkeye fans. And I mean, just all these types of things. So just very respectful group of young people all over the hotel and within the community. And it was great to see those young people.
We really take
doing some
over
great
Indianapolis, and I remember going as a high school student myself and having those same conversations with people and explaining why are we here, and it's really, you can tell the kids that go, because afterwards I feel like are a little elevated to be like, oh, we have a bigger purpose, and what can we do in this community through this organization? So,
do you get funding from DEER?
Currently, no. No comment on the rest of that.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions for Hunter? Thank you.
Yeah, thank
you. Keep
No,
growing
thank
the
you
program
guys.
as well. All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. All right, that brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 9, resolution fixing the date of sale and approving official statement. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the resolution fixing the date of sale and approving official statement as presented. I'll give a little quick details real quick. The district intends on issuing approximately $80 million of bond anticipation notes ban in October 2026 and dedicating projected save surplus through June 30th, 2032 toward the One High School project. The bans are expected to be retired through a future save bond issuance around 2031. The resolution to be considered, resolution fixing the date of sale of approximately $64,500,000 school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bond anticipation project notes, Series 2026, and approving official statement and move its adoption. And can we get that on the table? We already did it? Okay. All right. So we got our CFO, JT. I see Tim back there as well. So are there any questions on this? This is, I think we already went through it as well, so, hey. Okay.
So how's this different than the last?
Yeah, so just real quick, we, after the last meeting, and we approved, those 4 or 5 different,
I believe that question goes to the next.
they're all 3 related.
Okay.
So I'll just have the conversation up front.
yeah.
That way you can kind of roll through
We can set the date.
the action items. So, but since the last meeting, we had our bond rating call, and that gave us some insight on kind of what the rating agency was looking for, maybe some changes to what our original financing structure plan was going to be. So essentially, we're recommending to shorten the ban to a 3-year and get rid of the taxable ban that was originally approved, which helps, again, our rating. It helps, it saves us in future professional fees and interest costs. And then also as part of the structure, we're going to, instead of using all of our save future receipts, we're going to use PEPAL as collateral and pay our PEPAL back through the SAFE fund. So again, that helps us meet our coverage. It helps our rating. But that's kind of the summary, if you will. We're shortening the ban, the amount to 64 million instead of the total being about 78. We'll figure out how we need to utilize PEPAL, when we get to that point as we get further along in the project. But that's really essentially the pivot that we've made since the last meeting. And again, Tim is here if you have more detailed questions or want more information.
You came all this way, Tim. You might as well come up.
And I know he'll want to talk more about the last item. I think item 11 is a little bit different, but yeah.
So what is the date here? I don't see that.
So we're shooting for your next regular board meeting in September right now. Rating agency wanted a little bit more time, so we're going to try and shoot for the first meeting.
The first or the second?
I think it's the first meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 12th. Yeah, we're shooting for the first meeting, knowing that it might get pushed to the second meeting. But the drop dead date for all of this to happen is really October 15th is kind of when we need to get everything.
I know we talked about both dates, but okay, so the first, okay. Yes. 14.
Oh.
14.
So that doesn't need to be identified in this document?
It does not, actually. No.
Okay.
Yep.
So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye. Sorry. And I wrote that down earlier.
What? What
Roll
happened?
call vote.
Oh,
I knew that. I did. I had it wrote down. This requires a roll call vote. Director Mills?
Aye.
Director Knight?
Aye.
Director Schmidt?
Aye.
Director Ewing?
aye.
Director Matlock?
Aye.
Director Cox?
Aye.
Chair is aye. I did. I wrote it down. I knew. All right. Don't move. This brings us to item 10. Resolution establishing parameters for the sale of approximately $64,500,000 school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bond anticipation project notes, Series 2026, delegation of authority to accept and award sale. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the resolution establishing parameters for the sale of approximately $64,500,000 school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bond anticipation project notes, Series 2026, delegation of authority to accept and award sale as presented. I'm not reading all that again. All right, Tim's here. JT's
So just like
available.
normal people speak, can you just explain quickly what this means? Yeah, so you're telling staff, essentially, we want you to sell 64.5 million of
bond anticipation notes. We want you to bring it back at the next first available meeting, and that the interest rate would not be higher than 4.1% without further board input. So that's what we're working towards. And to remind the board, we baked in 0.5% on the interest rate over where we think the actual rates are today. So just so we had a cushion there. So we think the rates are in the mid 3% range right now. Yeah.
So given the last couple of weeks, is that cushion still there?
We may be eating into it a little bit if we can.
Okay.
Did we get our rating?
We've not. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
You know, you're all good.
All right. Any more questions on that one? All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation? Oh, jeez.
You knew that.
I'm gonna start down on this end because this is where my notes are. So I'm gonna start on this end. Director Cox.
Aye.
Director Matlock.
Aye.
Director Ewing.
Aye.
Director Schmidt.
Aye.
Director Knight.
Aye.
Director Mills.
Aye.
All right. Chair Director Williams is aye. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Resolution authorizing the redemption of outstanding school infrastructure sales, services, and use tax revenue bonds, Series 2020, dated October 22, 2020.
Second.
Thanks. So in the rating discussion, remind you, rating agencies can't tell you what to do. They can give you guidance on how they think an action would be perceived, but they can't tell you what to do. And so after the rating call, we got some interesting questions. And one of the questions they seemed fixated on was, in 2029, when you pay off the $64.5 million you just approved, you're planning on paying off the 2020 bonds at the same time. And we said, yeah, that's always been the plan. We'll need to restructure or retire those bonds in order to meet our cash flow coverage requirements. And the rating agency kind of hemmed and hawed around about it, and I finally said, look, do you think that your committee would be concerned that we haven't taken the action today to pay off those bonds? It's 3 years from now. Our view is we'll get there when we get there. And they said, yeah, but our view is it'd be better if you would have taken the action now so that it's just one less thing for us to worry about. So I said, fair enough.
What do they mean by take the action? Just say we're going to pay it?
Correct. That's all that this resolution says. You're going to pay off the bond.
No, actually provide the funds to pay it.
Yeah. We've calculated the safe cash flow, and it's tight, but you should be able to generate enough cash to pay off the bond in 2029. So.
Which we were going to do.
So we're going to do anyway.
So we're just telling them officially that's what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
But you're earmarking, in the meantime, the save over on the point two, you're earmarking that to pay this.
Correct. We were going to spend it on the project either way. Okay. If you remember, we were spending save through at least 2030, 2031. So we're just changing. The change is that the money, instead of going towards the one high school project, will go towards paying this bond off, and we'll have less bond payments, so we'll have more capacity to borrow in 2029 to pay for the one high school project, if that makes any sense.
So there's the two bonds. There's the Lowell and the WCCX bond. So give me the timeline on each of the, I was under the understanding we're going to set aside money now in escrow for the 2029 payment.
Yeah, sorry for any confusion. You've done both, actually. You have previous action at the last meeting, you set aside money for both of the two Lowell and WCC bonds. And those set asides were to get our payments in line with our coverage requirements today. This is to authorize the full payoff of the 2020 bond, which I think was WCC, and just retire it. So in 2029. So you won't be setting aside, this does not obligate you to set aside cash in any particular year, other than that we're going to want to make sure we honor the resolution. So we'll set aside cash as cash is available in an amount sufficient to comply with the resolution.
So from a lender's perspective, those two bonds don't exist because we've on the side already set aside enough money to pay for them, is that right?
In 2029, this bond would still exist between now and then.
But they look at it differently because the resolution is there.
Yeah, now we're talking about the rating agency.
Right.
Yes, they look at it as the resolution says you will do this on this day.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's the sequence of this bond versus the 64 versus this one here?
I'm not sure I follow the question, sorry.
This is the this is the PEPAL or the SAVE?
The borrowing today that we just approved is the SAVE only. We haven't authorized any PEPAL.
Okay. All right.
All right.
But even
Thank you.
when we do, just so people know, even when we do PEPAL, we're not actually taking PEPAL money, like we're borrowing against PEPAL money.
It's the collateral. You're going to use
Yeah.
the SAVE to make the payments. Yep.
Different conversation.
Yes, correct.
Just didn't want to.
Different conversation.
Yeah.
We don't want to confuse anyone. Any more questions for Tim?
When will S&P when will they let us know? Have they let other people know yet? What's their timeline been looking like?
Yeah, you're actually the last one.
We're the last.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so.
They were waiting on tonight?
They were waiting on tonight. So I'll go back to them tomorrow with the copy of the resolution, and then we'll set a timeline that should wrap it up this week or next.
Okay. Thank you for
Thank you.
advocating for us so much,
Yeah.
Tim.
Thank you for all your hard work. All right, this requires a roll call vote as well. Looking to my right. I do a little better looking this way. No. Director Cox. Aye. Director Matlock.
Aye.
Director Ewing.
Aye.
Director Schmidt.
Aye.
Director Knight.
Aye.
Director Mills.
Aye.
Chair, aye. Thanks, JT and Tim, for all your work on this. Appreciate you. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Item 12, self-insured workers' compensation letter of credit. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the renewal and increase in the self-insured workers' compensation letter of credit amount with Farmers State Bank from $1,730,000 to $1,940,000.
Second.
All right, JT, can you give us a little bit of information on this?
Yeah, so this is an annual action item that the board has done previously. Basically, we are partially self-funded our workers' comp insurance. We pay everything through the management fund, but as part of the administration of this partial self-funded plan, the EMC requires a secondary form of collateral to be on file. So basically, this means that we have a line of credit with Farmers State Bank that we will never draw on, but for their purposes, they need to have it in their files, just so they are assured that they will receive payment. But again, all of the funds will come from the management fund. We will not draw on this. Again, it's more of a formality than anything else, but it needs to be board approved.
So in terms of the partially self-insured, are we trending to a higher percentage of self-insured, or?
Our mod ratio is still a little bit high, on the high side, but if we were just fully insured, our premiums would be out of this world, kind of. We probably would be kicked out of some of the plans, but because of the way that we have it structured now, we're taking on more risk, and we're doing more on our side to prevent injuries, doing more education, safety training and whatnot. So we're trending down, but the mod ratio is an average of 3 years. So we still have one kind of bad year on our ratio. So once that levels off, our mod ratio should go down, and we should see a decrease in our workers' comp.
So is this essentially a deductible situation that we pay the first, whatever it is?
We pay up to a certain amount, yeah. So, yep.
Okay, so this is workers' comp. Is this just if they get injured at, like, at work?
Yeah, our employees,
right?
if they got hurt on the job, yep.
Okay, so like, if somebody though gets hurt at home, they have to go on short-term disability or whatever, that's a completely different thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. There's a lot of terms here to learn.
So how many are on workman's comp now?
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know that off the top
I
of
don't
my
have
head.
that report. Oh, we don't have a lot of high claims. Lyle, a lot of the claims are related to
Slips, trips, and falls.
Slips, trips, and falls are a major component. There is some, if a student, strikes a para or staff member, there could be some minor things that from that.
So we reviewed our claims with PDCM. I believe that was in the spring. We talked through our workers' comp claims, and like JT said, our 3-year trend is actually going down pretty substantially, but we still have one real bad year that is holding us up. Like JT said, we've done a lot more with people having conversations in buildings. Some of you, if you read the emails from Corey, she gets a whole lot like don't stand on chairs, walk like a penguin, all of that, because the number of claims we get from slips, trips, and falls is the highest by far. And that's where the biggest number of our claims come from.
So again, we haven't had 3 years quite. This will be our 3rd year on this partial self-funding program. So again, we should or hoping to see, again, the costs trend downwards because of, again, how they calculate our experience ratio.
So on the slips, is that mostly ice?
I would have to go into like the detailed report. I don't remember that off the top of my head. It could be ice, it could be slipping in a hallway or tripping on something as you're walking through. I don't remember exactly what.
I just wonder if it parlays into timely snow removal or that sort of thing.
I mean, I can talk to Zach about that, but I think our people have been pretty good about getting that done. I know if they're not getting it done, Zach's pretty quick on them to let them know about that.
I know they are, but it'd be interesting to know if that's an area. That
Is it even? We could look through the timeline of when more of those slips, trips, and falls happen.
Is it even broken down? I mean,
we have it broken down. Like, I don't know if we've gone into that level of detail.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of reports. So.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah. All right. Are there any more questions?
All right.
All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. That brings us to the last item on our action items. Item 13, a separation agreement. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the discussion and potential action regarding approval of employee separation agreement.
Okay.
All right. So all those in favor of approval.
What is it? No, we get to know what it is.
You should have received some information.
Okay.
First step. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye. Abstain.
So we have 2 abstentions,
And 5 ayes.
4 ayes. Yep. Chair votes aye.
Oh, 5.
Now
Okay.
5.
Now 5.
So that ends our action items for the evening. And now to the superintendent's report.
Okay, I've got 2 quick updates for you. One, today was the first day of school. which is like crazy, hard to believe.
Traffic was really different this morning.
Oh, right. I mean, there's, it's all the mixture of emotions here for all of us. I mean, within our group thread, excitement, right, about getting to all the different things going on. I know you were over at, our whole team was pretty much across the district checking in on. And remember, we only had kindergarten, first, second, and then 6th and 9th grade students. But a lot of excitement. Staff are doing a great job. Buildings look great. Thanks to our custodians for all that they've done to get our buildings prepared. Even some last minute things we've had to do, some storms that have really been messing with some of our buildings, but they've done a great job of getting those all set for us. And then don't forget, the rest of the students come tomorrow. And then pre-K, which again, thanks to Megan for all the pre-K updates. Don't forget that Megan, through some of our financial restructuring or cost savings, we reduced the director of pre-K, and that fell on Megan's plate. So a huge undertaking, but she's done a really good job with it over the last year. So, but again, school started today. Lots of great things going on. It's a busy week, and the temps, knock on wood, I haven't looked ahead, but today was probably the coolest first day of school that I can remember, being in the 70s. So it's really, really nice. Number 2, board, I don't know if you saw the email I sent earlier today, but we've been working hard to see what we can do to replenish our subbing pools. And and I thank you, JT, thank you, Sam. We see some of our best subs are our retired teachers. And we've had some of our all-stars that have come back and sub for us. There's been conversations that have been happening. Actually, some comments at the board table. I don't know if you remember them, but some of our teachers have come and said, "Hey, could you pay our retired teachers more?" And we crunched the numbers and said, "Hey, we're not going to be out a whole. Not only are we going to have a great sub in the classroom, but also the amount of money that the give and take is not actually a big deal to the district." So, long story short, and I want to make sure people out there hear it, subs are now getting paid. Retired teachers who sub in the district from Waterloo, let's make sure we say this right here. Retired Waterloo teachers who come back to sub for us are going to be paid at a rate of $200 for the short-term rate, which is 1 to 9 days. And then the long-term rate would be 10 days or more would be $250 per day. So again, if you are a retired teacher or certified employee, we would love to have you come back for some of our openings. Just reach out to any of us, reach out to any principal. We'd love to have you and re-engage you as the needs come up, because they come up all the time. So thank you to JT, Sam, and everybody, and those teachers who advocated, Hattie and Louise and Bob Wright, that group. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight we'll start with Director Mills.
So first, real quick, that's very cool that you guys were able to do that, especially for long term, because you're getting in somebody who really knows what they're doing. Like I have my substitute authorization. I cannot go in and teach long term like Algebra 2. Do you know what I mean? So having like a real teacher come in and do it, somebody who's worked for the district, it's worth the money. I just wanted again to thank everyone who came to support us congratulating Bev. We got to see her story and everything she did, but there's so many stories like hers that are in this district. It would be really cool to be able to find more of those to highlight. And maybe we can convince her to come back and sub. So, otherwise, excited to all the teachers and students. I hope everything's going okay. Have fun.
Thank you, Director Mills. Director Knight.
No comments tonight.
Thank you, Director Knight. Director Cox.
Speaking about Bev being on the policy review policy board, she reminded me of excellence. I mean, that's what she was about. She was excellence. Sometimes I'm sitting there and, boy, she comes up and say, oh, we need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, wow. So thinking about excellence and to continue about the excellence as this new year is starting, kudos to all the teachers out there that's teaching excellence. All of our staff, it's about excellence. And, to our superintendent, to our team, it's about excellence. And so I think this is a good thing that, Bev, I think, kind of started here, is about excellence. So I just want to just reiterate, new school year, excellence. And I know I'm going to see it, hear it, and feel it. So I love that. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Director Cox. Director Matlock.
Thank you. Honor, passion, and mission. That's how Bev kind of towards the end mentioned in her statement. And I just want to thank her for that true commitment that she's given the Waterloo Community Schools for so many years, and her continued belief in who we are and our students. So that was a great way to start our meeting. So I appreciate that. Also, thank you to Kristen for her follow-up email with me about the SROs. I would like to hear how the meeting went with the SROs in that report. I think there was a debrief that Sheena had mentioned after our last board meeting. So I'm just wondering how maybe that went, and I really would like to have a follow-up conversation just to kind of go through that and bring in, I didn't write down her name, the person, yes, that came in to kind of have a conversation about, are there some restorative things that we can do? I would love to have that. One other piece I'd like to mention, and this is not patting myself on the back. Please, I state that because I don't do that. But I've been in education for 28 years, and starting my 28th year at Wartburg. One of the things that I pride myself is providing safe spaces for students to speak their truth and to have their voices be heard. And I think it's important for us as adults to provide those spaces for our students. Our students have a lot going on, be it athletics, things going on at home, or whatever it is. And I think it's important for us as adults to provide those safe spaces to hear the differing opinions about how our kids feel. The number of times that I've been in my office and there's been two different views in my space, and I had to figure out how to manage that. I think it's important as adults that we do that. And I want to thank that young man for that email that he sent on Friday. Teachers, administrators, may you be proud of the work that you do, the person that you are, and the difference you make. Have a great school year to our students, our teachers, our administrators, and our staff and our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Matlock. Director Ewing.
One of the nicest blessings of seeing Bev tonight and all the people that love her and all the people who she loves is the reminder that our school district is powered by experienced teachers. And the other teacher talking about when she was a baby teacher and how hard that can be, we just owe so much to these experienced teachers who have taken the years and taken the time to learn how to do this, because it is a hard fought, hard won, hard learned skill to be a teacher like that. And that's all I have to say tonight.
Thank you, Director Ewing. Director Schmidt.
Yes, first of all, welcome back to students and especially teachers. In terms of the ACLU document, the thing that wasn't mentioned was the gender equity. Males are much disproportionately more referred and more arrested than females. So kind of interesting in why that discrepancy wasn't mentioned. And oh, by the way, in the juvenile defender's office, is there gender equity? Is, should we not refer a male, because until the next female gets referred, I guess I'm looking for what's the realistic expectation and solution to this. Next one was Hunter, the growth trajectory in FFA and the ag program is really positive. I'm disturbed by his comment that one of his officers couldn't get into a class. That should never happen. Let me say that again. That should never happen. There should be no all barriers need to be removed for the students that want to take a career course. The reason I say that is, you know, what's extraordinary? If you ask what's extraordinary about Waterloo, what do we offer that no other district, at least one near us, can offer? Answer is always two things: diversity and career education. So those are the future. So even though it might be a short-term, you know, financial to reduce a teacher out there or to have to not allow a low class size, this is an investment in the future. That should prevail over everything else. So I really don't want to hear any student in the future being denied access to career education. It is the future. So I know there's a lot of things and a lot of reasons and a lot of, you know, who struck John things, but that needs to prevail at all costs, because it is the future. Let me see, what else did I have? Nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. All right, before I get started, I sat here and contemplated something. I made a comment earlier toward the end of our action items. It was reference to the roll call vote, and I wanted to clear it up just in case. I know this is live streamed, and I made a comment that said something referencing looking this direction, but my notes was this direction, and I didn't want to offend anybody or for somebody to take that the wrong way. I made a comment that said about looking this way, but my notes, when I kept not getting the roll call correct, my notes are right here. So I did want to clear that up real quick, because it bothered me. It bothered me a little bit. So I want to go on record and clear that up. But yeah, welcome back, first day of school, for those grades that attended today. So everybody should be excited for tomorrow, because we'll have full school buildings with everybody going to school. Should be some excitement in my household as well. My son is not ready. He does not ready. Yeah, but he's preparing though, so I'm excited. And I got an opportunity to ride by a couple schools today and seeing the families dropping their students off and taking the pictures. So it's always a good thing to see people excited about the first day of school and getting to see some friends that they may not have seen over the summer break. And then the educational portion of it is we're back at work. We're back at work. So to those faculty and staff, teachers, everybody that pour into our students and families, each day we're with you. Give it your best shot. Make this the best year ever. And students as well. Make sure you put your best foot forward. Get involved in activities. Make the best of your school career, or your just being involved. And that's within the schools and within your communities as well. Thank you to, let's try to get her name, Ms. Rachel, for that. As Director Matlock said, would love to hear more and have conversations regarding that as we move forward. To Ms. Bev, when I first got on the board, I was assigned to policy review, and her and Sarah, Ms. Cavalier, they were champions. When you're learning something new, or you're it's a process, and all the things that you do during policy review committee, I was a deer in headlights. I know Director Mills can attest to that as well. I didn't know what was going on, and they were steady. They were engaging. They just gave me what I needed to become a better person, serve on policy, and not always agreeing or looking at things from a different lens. But I believe the consistency and the knowledge that Ms. Bev brought will be unmatched as well. So enjoy, not having to come in here one Thursday a month and sitting on policy review. So, just wanted to give a shout out. I'll pull out a couple of dates that are coming up. As I mentioned before, all students will report tomorrow to their respective buildings. So that will be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, 10, 11, and 12. This Friday is the East-West football game. It'll be held at the Unidome. So looking forward to that. I unfortunately won't be able to get to see it, but I'm sure I'll hear about it. And then on September 7th, Labor Day, all offices and buildings will be closed in observance of Labor Day. Is there anything else before I adjourn? Board members? All right. So with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor of adjournment, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. We're adjourned.